Hi and welcome to Hoxton Therapy. This is a narration of one of our articles. How I cope with depression after losing 4 friends to suicide, man reveals. Dave, a 39-year-old man from Devon, has come out to speak about how he copes with depression after many of his close, long-term friends have died of suicide. Dave is a father and has struggled with depression most of his life and is now encouraging men to speak out about their emotions rather than bottle them up. According to him, he was diagnosed with testicular cancer sometime in 2007. Then he was in his 20s, and the results of the diagnosis came shortly after his ex-partner lost her pregnancy. The situation around him then resulted in a decline in his mental health. Now, Dave keeps his mental health well-being in check by getting occupied with activities during most of the day. Open quotes. "It's not a weakness if you let others in," close quotes, he said. After losing 4 of his close friends to suicide, open quotes, men ought to speak up about how they're feeling, close quotes. At age 19, Dave had his first therapy after his ex-girlfriend broke up with him after 6 years of their relationship. The therapy was helpful, actually, but I lost it sooner and went on to rampage. Since then, I've always battled depression, he recounted. During the late months of 2007, his partner had miscarriage, and nearly a month later he discovered a lump on his male reproductive organ whilst having a bath. At first it was said to be a cyst, but he was nervous and had to have a deeper check, which made him return 2 days later. His second opinion to have his body scanned produced a testicular cancer diagnosis, which got one of the scrotums removed. The surgical procedure was followed by a series of chemotherapy. Chemotherapy treatment was made me very careful about my body because the treatment usually suppresses the immune system. I didn't want to catch additional infections, he said. Sports was my comforter and guide. It keeps my brain alive and occupied. I cover 100 miles a day doing so for four times a week. Dave was doing a lot to keep himself busy, but later taken away. Thus, whilst he managed his challenges and circumstances, Dave claims he became uncomfortable. With depression, you tend to withdraw from everything, you said. You set boundaries to shield yourself from everyone, and which serves as a coping mechanisms. Open quotes. I became unbearable to be around. My partner was finding it very hard. I was extremely angry at times. Close quotes. After the first chemotherapy, Dave went for scans for the next 5 years to be certain he was totally cancer-free, and now he's married to another professional cyclist, Juliet. They decided to start a family. The couple had tried conceiving several times and tried IVF twice, but could not have children. 2 years ago, they adopted Alexandra, 4 years old now, with Dave is spending most of his precious times with since he was furloughed with Vale Park since COVID-19 pandemic outbreak. Dave began a blog since the lockdown began, and it was to keep up with his health in check by exercising and talking. Open quotes. Since cycle races have been put on hold, my work is cancelled. Close quotes. Open quotes. I love riding a lot, and riding isn't just about fun. It helps you stay in check. Close quotes. Obviously, same as millions of people around the globe, the pandemic has impacted several aspects of Dave's life. Talking about his marriage, he mentioned, open quotes, "We have attempted to get a divorce for about 16 times. It was difficult, so we went for counselling." Close quotes. Towards the end of October, Dave lost one of his close pals to suicide. Open quotes. "Losing my friend to suicide is bad, but I could tell about 10 people from the last 10 years within my network who committed suicide." Close quotes, he said. "It's really saddening." During the early weeks into the pandemic and lockdown, experts predicted the outbreak could have devastating impact on people's mental health. In the month of May, nearly 500 people in the UK enrolled for online suicide prevention program. Before the pandemic started, at least 6,859 deaths by suicide was recorded in both the UK and Ireland, especially in 2018. Overall statistics indicate that more men than women are 3 and 4 times likely to commit suicide in the UK and Ireland respectively. And now, Movember, Dave encourages people, especially men, to open up about their feelings and speak to someone who will listen to them. It's easy to withdraw, he said. Everyone can feel weak and don't want people in, but you don't need it to do it publicly, he said. Never act on any advice given in these articles, videos or audios. Always seek professional help before acting on anything you read or watch or listen to on this website, or in our podcast, or on our YouTube channel, or anywhere on our social media.